12 years in the making, and he gets his chance for a UFC contract.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up, because we're
Welcome everybody to the Australian MMA podcast. I'm on the road doing business shit. It's rubbish over there. Ignore that. Today's guest is none other than Kitt The Killer Campbell. Now, he is a man that has competed in the Australian MMA for better part of 12 years, burst onto the scene as a teenager, and he was really one to watch. He's had some ups, some downs, and he's probably been close to moving on to the UFC many times. He's gone through losing streaks, winning streaks. He's multiple-time Australian MMA champion, and like I said, he's fought multiple sort of UFC fighters, UFC caliber fighters, and that fight that you win this and you'll get signed. That's often been the one that Kitt Campbell has fallen short on. But this time, he gets his opportunity, fresh off pretty impressive victory over the recently retired Caleb Rideout, who we chat about on the show as well, former champion himself. Kitt Campbell off a round one knockout, a very exciting fight, has gotten an opportunity to fight on road to UFC, which is like Dana White Contender Series for like the Asia Pacific sort of area, and he is on a featured bout taking on a Chinese man by the name of Tailaki Nurajaji. Tailaki Nuraji. Yeah. And look, it's tough fighter, 11-1, very, very dangerous, but Kitt Campbell very violent and dangerous himself. It's sort of like just a featured bout. While there's tournaments going on. In these tournaments, we've got the likes of Aaron Toe, Seb Saleh, Del Marfan, and Jack Becker. They're in the actual tournament. Winner of that can pick up a UFC or a contract, where Kitt Campbell kind of gets an opportunity to just like put on a show. Now, he's been watched by the UFC for a very, very long time, and if he sort of not just wins, but is very exciting, and it's what the UFC wants, we could very much see Kitt Campbell move on and continue his UFC career. He talks about the struggles of, fighting regionally, and like I said, he started when he was 18, 12 years. He's had many opportunities to sort of walk away, like I said, long losing streaks, all that sort of stuff. It's been quite the journey for Kitt Campbell, and he talks all about it. And I'm very excited on May 23rd for him to step up road to UFC, taking on Tailaki Nuraji. Just got to say it with confidence. Before we head into our chat with Kitt Campbell, remember all your combat sports insurance needs. If you run a gym, run an event, combatsportsinsurance.au. Of course, want to thank our gym partners who are helping them with media and getting out there and whatnot. DCA, the home of Australian MMA champion Anthony Drillich and other aspiring athletes. And then, of course, our friends, we couldn't do it without them, powered by Vex MMA. And, of course, big shout out to PRP for getting the show together. Guys, without further ado, also, I will be at home in the studio very soon. This is a very temporary venue. But, guys, like, subscribe, hit up YouTube channel, all that sort of jargon. Oh, also, if you want Australian MMA shirts, search AUS MMA on ma1combat.com.au. That's enough plugs and ads. Right now, you're going to hear from a few friends, and then on the other side, a man on the doorstep of a UFC opportunity. It's Kitt The Killer Campbell. And we'd like to take the time to thank our gym partner, DCA, the home of Australian MMA champion Anthony Drillich and aspiring athletes. If you'd like to know more, head to DrillichCombatAcademy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I thought he was just going to retire. He gave options on his Instagram and he said, am I done? And I thought, yeah, no, Kitt Campbell's done. And turns out, no, he's not. He just might be on the verge of the UFC. How's it feel?
Good, mate. Good. I knew you'd be the one to say I'm done. That's how you roll.
Never. No, I actually knew. I found out about this a little while ago, and I didn't spoil the news because I'm not a dick.
Good.
Well, I mean, I guess everyone, wants to know. For those that don't know, Road to UFC, it's essentially like a Dana White Contender Series. In a way, you're getting an opportunity to sort of compete, connected to the UFC. If you do really well, they might bring you on. They might not. It is what it is. But you've got an opportunity. How did this all come about?
Yeah, no, like you said, it's that's how I'm treating it, like Contender Series, and it's a foot in the door. We're on the roster, and all that's left to do is get the job done. And yeah, like any fight, Mitch, we got to get it done properly. You know, like a good knockout or a finish will be ideal. But yeah, this all sort of just come about pretty randomly, actually. Just received a message from one of the dudes from the PI, and we went from there.
Did you feel like there was any pressure or that you were running out of time at all?
Yeah, 100%. I told the coaches that if it's not going to happen this year, I don't know how much more I can give it. Just that it's very, very hard on the family. Look, if I didn't have the family, I'd fight until until the wheels fall off. But it is a lot of pressure on the family. You know what I mean? It's a lot of time from home, and yeah, I sort of, with them in mind, it was like it's make or break now. It's got to happen this year.
Is it weird that it really is just so? I mean, you've obviously earned it, but you could have been in there years ago, or they could have never picked you, type thing. Is it weird that it's just kind of like one guy's decision whether the dream happened or not in this moment?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a bit. Like if that one dude didn't reach out, then fuck, you know what I mean? Like it, and that's honestly like it comes down to timing. You know what I mean?
Did you know if you were on the UFC's radar for a while, or?
Yeah, look, we've been back and forth with the UFC, but I was struggling to string together a good amount of wins, you know what I mean? And that's what they're after. Like they do look at the quality of guys you're fighting, but they really just want that win streak. So yeah, we were always back and forth, and they were saying, just get one more in, get the streak happening, and yeah.
Did you ever consider fighting? Like, I know people sort of disrespectfully throw this sort of stuff around, but have you ever thought of like fighting just 5 or 10 cans, getting that that record up nice? Because you've had those wars. We know you can fight the best of the best, but like you said, it's about putting those fights together and getting that sort of record up there or the win streak up there. Did you ever consider just taking maybe some easier but more fights?
No, not really. Like. And even if I did, we were never offered any, you know what I mean? Like, it was always getting fed to the lions, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm pretty grateful for that. And, it's not really in my nature to want to fight bums and try and pad that record, you know what I mean?
Does it feel, and like, you can be honest here or not, or you could lie. I mean, you're really good friends with like Jake Matthews, obviously like Jimmy Crew, you train with those guys all the time and all that sort of stuff. Did it kind of feel almost like awkward / frustrating to be the guy on the outside of the UFC?
No, never really. Like we're all there to help each other out, and like their journey is their journey and my journey's mine. What frustrated me the most was just the Australian scene and the way it is in the welterweight division. You know what I mean? Like that's what frustrated me. It had nothing to do with, I'm not a jealous person. Like, I don't look at Jimmy or Jack, go, fuck, that should be me. You know what I mean? Like, all in due timing, you just got to stay positive.
What frustrated you about the scene?
Oh, you want to go there?
I do. Just a little bit. We'll touch on.
I was just getting sick of calling dudes out. You know what I mean? Like, my last call out was 3 names. Joseph Luciano. I got a message back from Joseph, which was nice for him. He said that he's signed to a major organisation, which we didn't know at the time. Alden Bates was quiet, and I got a friend request from David Martinez.
That's very David Martinez.
You know what I
mean? Oh, mate, that's yeah, but I mean, obviously a little bit of the we won't go into it too much, but we do need to bring it up. But like, there is a bit of like politics in the sense of like promotions as well. Like, did you ever get offered fights on Eternal or anything like that?
Yeah, we did. And look, they were offering a pretty penny, but there was no word of a matchup at the time. So I sort of just, I've always sort of been a Hex guy, and the opportunity to fight for the belt was always on Hex. And like the last one against Rideout, like the Hex was always finding me the top tier guys, like Vale and then Rideout. So the opportunity was there to jump across, but I just sort of stayed with Hex.
How do you feel about finding out about Rideout retiring?
Oh, look, man, I honestly reckon. Look, I understand he's a family man, and shit gets tough in this sport, but I still reckon he can rebuild, and he's got a lot of good years left. I reckon he could definitely hang around and he'd smash half the roster out there. He's a very talented fighter.
Do you really sympathize with guys that are kind of calling it a day now that you're at the age that you're at, and how tricky it is to get to the next level?
Yeah, I don't know if sympathize is the word. Like, I just feel as though, like, this sport, it does take your soul, and if you're not getting the results that you want and you're putting in the effort, like, it is hard. And I think at times the grass is greener on the other side. Like, there's not a lot of money for us, and if there's no real clear vision of making it to a bigger promotion, then it is hard. Like, so I mean, there is a little bit of sympathy, but it's their choice, man. Who knows? Like, Rideout's probably got bigger plans, and like I said, the grass is probably greener on the other side for him. But I would love to see him hang around, and I don't know, maybe he will.
Does this weirdly reset it for you now? Because obviously, like you said, you're like, okay, I've got a year left. Let's see what happens. Now that you sort of get this opportunity, let's say hypothetically you get in, right? All of a sudden, do you feel like a young rookie again?
Yeah. Big reset, like that whole mentality of maybe this is it is gone. Like, the mentality is now or never, and I'm gunning for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, and like you said, like, you get in, your career's starting again, and you're at the bottom of a very, very dangerous pool. You know what I mean? And I'll probably experience 10 times harder fights than I've ever been in, which is which is what I'm after. You know what I mean? I want to be there. I want to be at the top of the game, and I think the career that I've had has prepared me pretty well for that.
And is it interesting to see that, it can take you 10, 15 years to get to the UFC, and a guy that you fought recently, Kevin Ducey, got into the UFC and now has already been released by the UFC, so it can be brutal at the top type thing. Does that stuff play into your mind at all?
No, like, I believe in timing, and touching on that Kevin Ducey thing, like, that's brutal. Like, I honestly reckon that he should have been given a chance to, prove himself. Because look, he started off great on that 2-fight streak, and then, man, he fought Brian Battle, who's one of the top in the division, and then Jono, who's an absolute stud. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it is brutal, but Jake, he says it all the time. Like, it's easy to get to the UFC, but it's fucking hard to stay in there.
And how hard was it to get there?
Yeah, for me, it was fucking backwards. I'll do the career backwards.
Well, I guess that's that thing too. Like, I mean, you talk about timing as well, and I can only imagine that you would have preferred to take this journey. Or, I mean, I always talk about, because I've been watching Australian MMA since I was literally a teenager, and I remember watching you, and you were the hot young prospect that was undefeated in Hex, and you were the guy that was supposed to be in the UFC from like 2017. So it's like, do you prefer this journey, or would you rather to just skip there straight away?
That's a good question, man. But I honestly feel as though, in perfect world now, get the contract, I'll do a lot better now than I would have back then. I learned all the shit I had to learn from the losses and some of the fights that I've had, and rebuilt and come back stronger. And yeah, like touching on it again, it's all that timing thing, and I believe this is divine timing right now. If I had got in when I wanted to, probably would have got the Ducey effect. You know what I mean?
And now I know it's there's not even losing in your mind at all, but let's say hypothetically this doesn't go your way. Has it still inspired you to keep pushing on, or are you going, man, that was my shot, I'm out?
We'll address it if it ever comes to it, but yeah, definitely not in my mind, man. There's only one option for me.
And is there obviously pressure to not just win but be violent?
Yeah, look, I always try my best to be violent, and the dude I'm fighting does the same. So, no, look, I do put pressure on myself, but I'm learning to control that pressure. And yeah, it's going to be a banger because, like I said, this dude's violent, I'm violent, and yeah, he's already had a fight in there and knocked the dude out. So yeah, we're coming up with a good game plan. We're going to beat this guy.
I was to say, do you know much about your opponent?
Yeah, I've studied a fair few fights. He's a rangy sort of southpaw guy, likes striking. He's got pretty decent grappling. Like, he's very good at defending the shots. There's been a few fights where you see him on top and he looks dominant on top too. So yeah, we're just sort of structuring the camp around just to get the right type of partners that will, mimic the fight well.
There's stuff like the Matt Vale give you like we talked about, you could have been the UFC at 5-0 or whatever, but like you've taken this long journey to getting matches like the Matt Vale one back. Does that mean kind of so much more?
Yeah, look, it kind of does. I mean, obviously you want to be sort of in the UFC a bit earlier on and making some decent money because, yeah, I mean, like I said, we're fighting for pretty much peanuts in Australia, but again, the Matt Vale fight back was good, but I would have much rather been fighting in the UFC, but it is what it is. Like, honestly, we've had so many chances to get in, and like when Matt and I first fought, it was sort of like it was one of those fights where the winner's going to get signed. You know what I mean? But and then the same with like when I fought Izzy Fitikefu, the same deal. Like, winner here is going to get signed, and Izzy did get signed, but I don't know what happened there. But I think he got injured and then got released and stuff. And then it was the same with the Kevin fight. You know what I mean? Like, winner here is going to get signed.
Do you think that shows sort of just how badly you want it and how strong mentally you are? Because, like, honestly, you've had about 4 make or break sort of opportunities.
Yeah, either that or just dumb, stupid. No, fuck. Call it what you want to call it. I call it dumb. I'm still here.
Do people talk you out of it, or have you do they talk you out of retiring, or are they trying to talk you out of fighting at any point throughout your career?
Oh, look, I've had people saying like, "What are you still doing?" Like, surely that dream's long gone now. This and that. That's more family members that sort of care about you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to see you get hurt, and they know how much effort you're putting into it and stuff. And then I've had my coaches and my teammates just revving me up, telling me to keep going. It's almost there.
You've never had teammates or coaches be like, "Hey, man, probably call it a day."
Nah.
Well, yeah, guys like Sam.
It's just it's just like family members and stuff, man, and just people that know you but don't really know you. Like, fuck, you're still going. What are you doing?
Yeah. Actually, I think I remember Jimmy Crute putting his gloves down and Sam Greco going, "Pick your fucking gloves back up." So.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like with Greco, like when I said to him, I go, man, like, if I don't get in this year, this is going to be my last year. And fucking, you could see the sort of ball dropping. And he was like, fuck, we've got to make something happen.
Does it make you run faster, lift longer, lift stronger?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, big time. It boosts everything, man. Big time.
And what would you say? I mean, I'm sure you do behind closed doors as well, but what do you sort of say to your family that have sort of never given up on you in this journey?
Yeah, I'm blessed, like honestly blessed, because any lesser woman or any lesser sort of kids would, they'd tell you to wrap it up as well. But because it's very straining on the family, financially, not being around as much when I'm training full time and stuff, and obviously just leading into fights. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very stressful. So I'm just blessed that they've pretty much been there the whole time and they understand what's involved and how close I've actually been a lot of the times. And it's never like when I lost, it was never like, oh fuck, he's gone so far behind now, he's never going to be able to Well, except for when I was on a 3-fight skid, that was different. But you know what I mean? Like I've always sort of just hovered around that top mark, just waiting for that that breakthrough, that right streak and that right time to make a move across to a bigger promotion, and we're finally here.
And finally, mate, what can everyone expect when you finally get your road to UFC opportunity?
Yeah, just very calculated, calm, and yeah, just I see a finish, and I'm going to finish this dude. Like I said with the ride out fight, I'm coming in with that same sort of energy. You know what I mean? There'll be no hugs in the 5th round, and we'll just I'll put him out of there. You know what I mean? I'm going to knock him out.
Fuck, you were right too. There were no hugs.
I love that dude. Right out's good value, man, and I really do hope to see him back.
Yeah, he's a great man. And look, honestly, like for anyone that has not sort of been following your career, I hate trying to make you sound old, but you've been around for a long time, and you've been, mate. No, there's not too many people out there that deserve this opportunity more than you. And you're not getting signed outright. You're not getting in the Contender Series. You're getting in the Kitt Campbell way, which is they're giving you this skinny little olive branch, and it's a feature bout. And I know for a fact that you are gonna fucking snatch it with both hands. And you're going to get to the top where you really belong, man. So I'm going to say congratulations on the victory that's coming.
Thanks, Mitch. You're a legend, mate. Appreciate it.
It's a lot of same, brother.